What's up, guys? This is Old Man Jameson with a post-gear review of my 2017 Appalachian Trail thru-hike. First thing I would say is I would read this book if you're going to do it. Appalachian Trials. Great book, emotional, psychological, and also all the other facts that you need to start a thru-hike. So let's get started. My sleeping bag weighed 3 pounds, 4.7 ounces. It's a EMS Solstice 20 bag. I did like it. The zipper would get stuck though. There's like baffling in here. You can kind of see how it folds over like this. So it helped it stay warmer, but I didn't like that about it. Other than that, it's a pretty good bag. At the end of it, I didn't think that it was definitely not warm enough. I'd recommend a warmer bag if you're going to be hiking through the snow like I did. Again, I finished December, so 14th, so it was cold. So again, that bag weighs 3 pounds, 4.7 ounces. I would have liked a lighter bag, but I used an Osprey Talon 44 bag in blue. I loved it. It was a medium large, which weighs, I think, 2 pounds, 7 ounces. They actually gave me a new one after because of the damage that had been done to it, and this one weighs 2 pounds, I think 4 ounces. So it's 3 ounces lighter, and it's actually a 42 liter. It's a great bag. I really like it. It's got a brain up here. It's a drawstring style backpack with a great pocket on the outside. I would shove my rain gear. If my tent got wet in here, I'd shove all that in there. Good water bottle holders. It's not good for smart water bottles, so you're going to want to use a 1 liter Powerade or Gatorade bottle. These attachments here on the bottom that kind of flip up onto here, I actually didn't really use unless I wanted to carry my tent if it got really wet or something, but the front, again, it's a very light backpack. I did wish that these pockets right here were larger. This is, again, a newer kind of model of the same pack, so it's the same pack, it's just a smaller version, and they did make some changes. I don't like this change so far. This is more of like a nylon. There was a mesh here, and I would call it my DSZs, or designated snack zones, because I would put tons of snacks in here and I would just eat all throughout the day like a hobbit. It was great. So I don't think I'm going to like that for this, but it's okay. I would just have carabiners on here. I would put my Deet Stick, which I actually lost, but that weighed about an ounce, I would say. And I would carry 100% Deet because the bugs were really bad in the beginning. I love the buckles, though. They clip well. This Airscape works great to help your back kind of vent out. It does have a hydration bag, which I didn't use. I just used the Powerade bottles. But again, I really like the bag. And I would stuff one of these 3 mil contractor bags in there to stay completely waterproof. Again, it is not waterproof. I don't recommend pack covers. They're just not for me, so that's what I would use. I carried a big Agnes UL Two tent. It's a great design. I just didn't like the rain fly because it's like a nylon shield for the rain tarp that goes over it. It would get very saturated, and then I would have to purposely stop for 15-20 minutes to have it dry out in a hot day, which I did not enjoy. If I get another tent, I'll probably get a Cuban fiber tent. The weight, though, is great. It's 2 pounds, 4.9 ounces, which is super light. I just used, actually, a shower curtain, and I cut it to the dimensions of my footprint for my tent to prolong the life of it. And that actually worked really well, and those are $2.48, in comparison to, whatever, a $40 to $70 ground pad thing that's made by Big Agnes, so that's what I used. Later, I picked up a Hikenture. It's just a pillow. It weighs like 3.3 ounces. As you can see, it got really dirty. It did actually leak over some time, so you could either spend more money and get like a brand name one. When it did work, it was great. But again, this is probably just going to get thrown out now that, again, like I said, it started leaking. I use, like I said, Repel 100% Deet. This is not what I brought, but I had a very small version of this that I would refill and again put right here so I'd be ready at any time. Like I said, the bugs were really bad in like Connecticut and stuff. Lots of no-see-ums and mosquitoes and whatnot. They drove me crazy. Appalachian Trail, I did do a flip-flop, so I did Connecticut to Maine, and then went down to New York, which is basically Connecticut-New York border, so then I did New York to Georgia. This is the map that I used. I loved it. If you want to spend the extra money, you can get gut hooks. That's also an incredible map. But I did carry the whole thing. Then I started ripping it up and sending sections home, and then, or I like ripped up a piece of it, and then I had parts of it sent to me. I also had it on my phone. That's a great thing to have. But very, very well mapped out. Everything's on here, water sources, privies, everything. So really like the map. Couldn't be happier with it. This is kind of my miscellaneous bag. When I started, it was much larger, but this is what it got down to. Fishing line along the top of my medicine bottle, just painter's tape holding it on. Inside, I would just carry vitamin I or ibuprofen, maybe some Tums, but very simple. A placker, chapstick, some batteries for my Lite. These are O-rings for my water filter. I carried the Sawyer Mini and then the regular Sawyer. I'll get into that more, but that was kind of my miscellaneous bag. Later on the trail, I did pick up one of these Benadryl sticks, which, just like the Deet, I just shoved in here, and if I got a really bad bug bite, I would just throw that on there, kind of get rid of some of the itching. I had always had toilet paper. There were times where I would just do trail magic and buy like 4 of the, the nicest, softest toilet paper and give 3 rolls away because I didn't want the crappy ones, so... triple antibiotic. I loved this size one. These are great. You can get them at the Dollar Tree for $1, which is great, but just a little thing of that. Again, like a mostly empty one. I just asked my mom to send me one that was pretty much gone for scrapes, but honestly, I didn't use it too much. And then Germ-X, very important. You don't want to get the norovirus, so I use that. I did start with some mace. I did later send it home. I realized that the Appalachian Trail is very safe, and I didn't feel like I needed it. Glasses. I had a carrier because I later had 2 pairs of glasses actually because, long story short, I lost a pair. I had the Neo Air X Lite. This is the 3/4 size pad. It weighs 8 ounces. Mine actually got a hole in it and it leaked. I don't love this pad. It's okay. Definitely don't recommend the 3/4 length. I would recommend going with the full size one in the winter when it gets really cold. Your feet get very cold, but overall I don't think this is a great pad for me. I roll around in sleep side, so definitely one of the most popular pads on the trail, and I do say overall it is a great recommendation for most people. Getting into electronics, I have this Petzl light here. Again, another piece of gear that I didn't think was that great. I would try to put it on the most brightest mode and it would shut off about after 3 seconds. I would prefer to have one that if I wanted to have it on the brightest mode, it would just stay there. This is an excellent piece of gear that I have. This is made by Elive Buy. It was an Amazon purchase. It's a 10,000 milliamp power battery thing, and you can see the lights on there. There's no flashlight, but it is dual USB. Probably charges in like 6 or 7 hours. Absolutely love that thing. Still works to this day great, and it's really cheap. I bought it for $13. Can't say enough about it. I really, really liked this piece of gear. I also picked up these sync wire cables. I broke a lot of charging cables on my hike, but I would carry 2 of something like this for Android charger, and I would be able to charge this. And my headphones, I carried Alltech Sport. Headphones are about $40. They're Bluetooth. They last a very long time for the charge, I would guess like 12 hours of music. It was great. So again, I had 2 cords, then, I'd put them in these with this. I had these headphones. I actually had Samsung headphones, the ones that come with a Samsung phone. These actually last the whole time. But in addition to those headphones, I probably broke 3 or 4 more pairs. They just could not last with the wire moving in your pocket as you were hiking. So I carried a GoPro. I didn't want to break my phone, so I carried this. Loved it. 128 Lexar gigabyte SD card. I carried just this whole kind of thing here. Extra earbud things. I did carry replacement screens so that if I broke the piece of plexiglass on top of here, the lens wouldn't be destroyed and I wouldn't be kind of screwed for my hike. This is part of the lens cover. This would plug into my phone, and I could take off videos that it would take on my phone and put them onto here. If I were to do this hike over again, instead of the Samsung Galaxy S6, which I carried, I would carry the newest one, and I would just put this inside my phone with the life-proof case. That way I wouldn't be worried about breaking it, and I could take as many videos as I wanted. I would carry some cash. My wallet is very minimalistic. Credit card, debit card, license, cash, that's it. I did have stamps motivate me to send people stuff. Yeah, mostly to motivate. It's very easy to get stamps on the trail when you go into towns. I did carry this little chest rig for my GoPro. This was great when it was raining and I could just truck along with pushing really hard with my trekking poles, which are actually in my trunk. But I did carry the Cristallo Lecky brand poles. I love that. Very good quality. I did replace the tips at the end, but overall, great trekking poles. They were pretty cheap and they were excellent quality. I really beat them up. And I use them like a cross-country skier. I really use them very, very intensely. That way could use like a full body workout. This is a NanoSil Sea to Summit bag. It's not waterproof. Didn't realize that. If I did it over again, I'd probably still get this one. I did drop it out of a tree one day. I cut the rope and wasn't thinking, and it just fell on the floor. So I just duct taped it and used dental floss to sew around. That's another thing I don't have, but I did carry like a little sewing kit inside of here to sew like my pants and stuff if they ripped. Weighs like nothing, so it was worth it. I carried this Fossil watch, which I made this paracord band for the whole trail. I love it, and as you can see, there are maybe like 2 or 3 scratches on it, so they're very high quality. I started off with a knife like this. I sent this one home, and someone gave me this one. Honestly, I'd recommend like a Leatherman Micra, a very, very small knife. You don't need it. In my opinion, for protection, and you don't really need it to cut open stuff, I mean, unless you're going to like whittle or something. So I carried this pot. I don't actually know who makes this, but yeah, not big enough. You want like a 1 liter pot. You get really hungry out there. Also, I got a Togs titanium long-handled spoon. If you start the trail, plastic's fine. I broke mine and got this one, and I like the long handle because you can reach down and get food out of anything, and it doesn't break. The angle's perfect, so if you put it in your pack, it's very hard to break it because it's not too steep, where if you were to pack it, you'd have to be really careful about where you put it. I also got an Msr Pocket Rocket. I love this thing. Yes, it probably is heavier than other stoves out there, but it's very durable. As you can see, I beat the crap out of mine. I use it a ton. I have no complaints about it. I love it. I used 1 Bic lighter the whole trail. I don't smoke, so I just used it to light my fuel. And I actually had 2 of them, which was hilarious because one went the whole way. I would use the isobutane mixed fuel. I didn't like this Coleman brand one, though I did just go backpacking with this and it was fine. But I recommend the other one. I don't know what it's called. It's a silver, black, and red container, but that one I found was the best. The Sawyer Mini. Oh boy. Okay, so I didn't like the Mini. And then I got the regular size one, which I didn't like this one either, probably because I didn't backwash it enough, but I would use a Life water bottle with the sport cap, just like everybody else, and backwash it. I hated this filter, way too much work, way too slow. It would take me like 30 minutes to get like 2 liters of water, and I did this hike on a very low budget. So again, probably my fault, but definitely not the filter for me. And I carried a bandana so that I could grab my pot, that's basically what I used that for. Alright, so for clothes, I hiked in one of these like wool synthetic blend Columbia shirts, and then LL Bean shorts, LL Bean pants. I love LL Bean. Just regular, synthetic boxers. I had like 2 or 3 pairs of socks at all times. At one point I had this REI kind of fishing jersey sent to me. Not the best size for me. It wasn't really designed for my slim fit body, so didn't keep on using it. I sent it back. North Face Puffy Jacket, absolutely love it. Now they make slim fit, so if you're a smaller guy like me, you can get one of those, but that's a great jacket. LL Bean quarter zip, absolutely loved it. I did have to sew it, but it does have thumb holes, which was great because I could wear it and hike and be really comfortable with my hands. I hiked in a lot of different shoes. Salomon Trail 3s and the Ultras were my favorite. So I hiked probably 900 miles in Ultras. These ones are dead, but I would hike again in those. And I also bought the Ultra Gaiters just because on Amazon they were cheap, and obviously they work perfectly with the shoes. I actually burnt one, so that's why there's only one. Moving into warmer gear, I did actually start with a hat just to wear it on cold nights. I had very short hair then, and I had long johns in the thermal top, which were very important when it got cold. I had cold weather sent to me, this Cocoon Liner, which worked pretty well until maybe November, December, when it got really cold, and I should have gotten a 0-degree sleeping bag, but I didn't. Hunting season, I picked up one of these caps. Didn't really want to wear it, but I didn't want to get shot, so not that I felt like I was really in a lot of danger, I just wore it. I got longer hair, so I had this buff thing sent to me, and I'd wear that, and I also got really warm socks for nighttime, and I would sleep on my pack so that because I had a 3/4 pad, my feet were off, on the cold shelter wherever I was at, so I would sleep on my pack, which, again, another reason, if you're going to be winter camping, I don't recommend it, because your pack will have ice all over it from the snow and stuff. So, that's pretty much my stuff that I carried. Again, my trekking poles aren't here, but that's pretty much it. My base weight's probably like 15 pounds, all this stuff here. Not including the fuel. But, yeah, that's probably around where I'm at, 15, 16 pounds. If, we get into winter gear, I would say, more like 16 or 17, maybe 18. I did also have LL Bean, like really nice gloves. And honestly, you should have 2 pairs if you're going. One, like mittens, and then also gloves, just because they can get wet and stuff. So that's pretty much what I carried. If you have questions, please ask me. Now, for gear, I'm going to switch out. I'm going to use this big Agnes AXL Air. As you can see, it weighs, let's get this to focus, 9.6 ounces. And I'm going to try this out instead of the Neo X Air, just because I wanted a thicker pad and because I wanted to try a different design. That has lateral baffles. This one's kind of like, I don't really know how to describe it, but I think this will be better for sleeping at night. I have tried this, but only for a few nights. Again, 7 months is a lot longer, so next piece of gear, I'm ditching that stupid Sawyer filter, and I'm going to go with this Katahdin. This thing's awesome. It actually does filter like 2 liters of water a minute. It is so fast. The first time I used it, I actually laughed. I did modify and put rope here. Again, larger pot. And I sent home these whatever these handhold things are for your trekking poles. I just pulled these off and sent them home. I didn't need them. Plunger, again, I used a sport cap, and then this was some other medical stuff. My mom sent me too many ibuprofen, whatever. There was more than that I sent home, but that's pretty much what I did. Please ask me if you want to know weights. I will show you a picture here real quick so you can see where I'm at. So tent, backpack, you can pause the video to see it, pillow, all that stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. 15 point, I think that says 5 ounces for the kind of summer-fall setup. Again, I do plan on trying to make my stuff lighter by replacing this sleeping bag, which again is way too heavy. So, alright, much love. Comment, subscribe, and please like the video. And again, please give me some control.